Today I will try to show you how you can read the NTFS USN journal without being an admin, without having any special privileges. If you try to read a journal the typical way, you can use fsu-usn command for this purpose, and then you can say read journal from the drive, let's say X. And if you have no special privileges, particularly a manage volume privilege, you will see the access is denied and you cannot read it for a reason. But actually you can read a lot even without being an admin. So let's try. How the journal is being read. Here is a piece of simple C code. To read a journal content, you have to do a couple of things. First, you have to open a handle to a volume. In my case, it is volume X with this type of the path. If you have the handle, you have to send a query journal control to this particular handle, and you will obtain a piece of data. This data is needed because it contains the journal ID. So I will set F9 a breakpoint, press F5 to run it, and I will send the query journal code. And if I go here for USN journal data, press Shift F9, I will see the content of the variable, the structure. And the journal ID is one of the useful data over here. And the minimum and maximum supported major version is another one. I will need those three values later to query journal content. So if I have them, I can assign them to the proper structures. You can see here, you can see ID and those version being assigned. And then I'm sending the next fsctl command, again using device IO control. This time is about reading the journal. I'm providing the input data here, the data I have set from the numbers obtained previously, and then I'm obtaining the result in the buffer. Actually, there's a couple of records, but I will examine only the first one just to show you. So if I send it after some error checking, I will obtain the content and I will put it into the structure. I will create a breakpoint again, F5 to run it. After it runs, I can go here and Shift F9, display it again. And here you can see the content of the data from the journal record. And you can see there is a file name length 14 and the file name appears here. It is possible because, as you can see in the upper right corner, I'm an admin. So for admin, it is allowed. The length of the file name is 14 because it contains 3 characters plus 3 characters plus dot times 2 as Unicode, and actually it is 14 bytes. So you can read it. And the file name within the journal entry is the real reason why unprivileged users cannot read the NTFS journal, because they could obtain information about file names and about operations on files, regardless permission for the file. And this is obviously not something that unprivileged user should see in practice. If I try to run this particular piece of code, I can let it run and it terminates. But here I can see the executable file name, Control C. I will return to my command line, paste it, and here you can see if I'm not an admin, it will return fine, obviously meaning access is denied. But then I started to dig in a bit deeper. If you right click or just control click on the code being sent, you will jump to the header file. And here you can see the definition that read USN journal is actually a code number 46. If you scroll a bit down, you will see the code number 234, which appeared relatively late. And you can see it is FSCTL read unprivileged USN journal. It was introduced in Windows 10. So I will try to use this code instead the previous one. I will close the Visual Studio and I will open Visual Studio again without being an admin. It opens my code. Right now I'm no admin anymore, and I will change the query, the code being sent to read unprivileged USN journal instead of just read USN journal. And if I try to run it again, F5, without being an admin, I will stop on the first breakpoint, giving me an idea. I will show you the result. It is here, it's just empty. But my error checking told me nothing wrong happened so far. If I try to display this USN journal data, Shift F9, I can see the data about the journal is obtained even if I'm not an admin. I will run my code further, F5, it stopped here. So it went past the FSCTL read unprivileged USN journal this time. And if I display the content of USN record version 3, Shift F9, you can see the data is the same I had previously with one important difference. File name length equals 0. And the file name is just useless. It means nothing because the length is 0. So you can read the journal without any problem, but you cannot obtain file names. If you want to read the journal for any other purpose than obtaining file names, you can easily do it without any elevation. If I run the same code again right now, after compiling it with unprivileged, you will see I'm obtaining the data from my code, so the journal entry was read properly and without any error. Obviously, FSCTL read USN journal IOCTL is well documented. FSCTL unprivileged read is absolutely not documented. But if you want to dig deeper, I have a piece of the code in the C, just useful code digging through the journal, but not needing any file name. So you can analyze it and play with it if you want.